6:30? Ready to rock. Who's in the room has already done this QR code, and that's the registration. Even if you are only doing youth football, I'm still asking everybody to do this. Who's in the room? QR code. Done this QR code, and that's I'm good. And that way, I know you understand the expectation standards, and I have your contact information when it comes to address. So if I have to add you into the system. The one on the right is our YouTube channel. All right, so, and I can't express enough about the YouTube channel. The more you teach, the more you learn. So today's short was incorrect. All right, we had an illegal touching, and I said 5-yard penalty remains 4th down. It's 5-yard penalty, loss of down. So we're going to take that short off. We're going to redo it and send out the right information. But this YouTube channel is what we use for education, the daily shorts, the weekly training tapes, these live events. And then September 14th, Nebraska does play Northern Iowa that day. So we're going to do our continuing education. So last year, we used the profits for that for multiple reasons. One, to keep our cost of our clinics, advanced clinics that we do, at a low cost. We try to keep it between $50 to $100. And we do that because of this golf scramble. And then the other thing we do is we allow officials that want to advance and can't afford it, and we scholarship them to advanced clinics, not only ours, but a bunch of clinics throughout the Midwest. So if you're a golfer, you're available September 14th. It's already an invite in your schedule, and it's just a simple Google form. So that's sort of what this QR code is there. Again, membership, $50 if you're looking to work all games that we have to offer. If it's only youth, you don't have to pay the $50, but we still need you to fill out the Google form. All right, so we can get the correct information into Arbiter Sports for communication as the season goes. All right. Here, this was 2 o'clock this afternoon, available games. All right, so if you've joined our group, you've paid dues, you should have self-assigned. Does anybody not have self-assigned? They think they should have self-assigned. All right. Brad, you do. All right, before you leave today, we're going to help you get it to work. All right, but we do. All right, so if you're in the room, if you're online, if any of these games, 17th, 18th, 24th, work for you, you can send me an email. All right. And then there's one more slide. I think I got it through the 29th. All right, this is just football. All right, so 25th and through the 29th. All right, so GPYFL does start this weekend, and they play next weekend. The MYFL does not start till September 1st, Labor Day. All right, so it's the Labor Day Sunday. So if you're planning, it's like, all right, September 1st, I'm ready to rock and roll. That is Labor Day Sunday. All right, so that is our current openings. You could email me. You're open the 17th, you're open the 18th, you're open the 24th, 25th. Or just a note on here, Norris High School is not in Omaha, Nebraska. All right. There's Norris Middle School in Omaha, Nebraska, but Norris is in Firth. So if you're in Lincoln, Nebraska, that's a good place for you to go instead of going to Woodrow Wilson and Council Bluffs. All right. So again, those are sort of our announcements coming into the day, and then we'll get into our future practices here at the end. But we're going to go over umpire. All right, pre-snap responsibilities. The thing I love about the umpire position, if you have a great umpire in that position, the whole game is under control. And I say that is the athletes on the outside, they talk a lot of stuff. I get it, I understand it, but they don't bang every single play. Linemen bang every single play. All right, so if the linemen, you could keep them under control, you could typically keep a game under control. All right, so, and every game has an umpire. Every game needs an umpire. All right, so if you're working any level, varsity all the way down, I think every official should at least know how to work this position. So pre-snap, know the gridiron. What we mean by the gridiron is if I am snapping at the 23 position 5, in my head I'm saying 235. 23-yard line, position 5. It is literally a gridiron in my head, so I know where that previous spot is. Now, is that easy to do if you haven't officiated before? No, it's not easy. But it's learning that gridiron. All right, sweet. We have a sweep to press box side for a 2-yard gain. Now the next placement of the ball is going to be 25-1, 251. All right, so I try to remember that gridiron in my head of the yard line, then the position. Change down indicators. All right, so once I place that ball, that's the next thing I do is I change my down indicators. All right, now it's third down. Now I'm going to switch position of the ball. All right, because how many times has there been a flag and the line of scrimmage is doing what they're doing, the referee's doing what they're doing, and all of a sudden there's a back judge trying to get everybody's attention. We have a flag. All right, so I don't change my down indicators until that ball is placed on the ground. I try to keep that previous spot until then. We went over this quite a bit on Saturday. Make sure the referee is ready to make the ball ready for play. Every referee is different. As the game goes, the situation is going to change. All right, so referees, there are sometimes a referee that has nothing to do. They're making eye contact with you. They're like, all right, we're good. There's other time the referees are talking to the lineman. The referee's talking to the passer. The referee might be on the 0-2-0 talking to the crew. If you do not know if that referee's ready to go, you cannot back away from that football. Because umpires, what happens, what by rule, what can the offense do once we step away from the football? Snap. All right, part of the referee's job is to make sure the crew is ready to go. All right, so it's got to be a really good teamwork with your referee. And umpires, I would rather your referee yell at you and say, would you get off the ball? Get out of there. Rather than you leave the ball and then the referee is saying, hey, why'd you leave? We need you over the ball. All right, so whoever your referee is on varsity, this should be taken care of by halftime of the first game. The rhythm, the routine. As you're working JV, sub-varsity, and youth football, have that communication with your referee. Are you going to give me a thumbs up? Are you going to give me eye contact? Are you going to say you're good? Or am I just going to have to follow your body language to figure out we're ready to rock and roll? All right, but this number 2 step in high school federation football, umpires, when you walk away, you are the ones that make the ball ready for play. Okay? Next, back out of your starting position. Again, the offense could do what once we make the ball ready for play? They can snap it. So, did I not bring down my footballs? Oh, thank you. So here I am. I'm placing the football down. Boom. I step away from the football and I go like this. What could the offense do? They could snap the ball. All right, so when I place the ball down, I want to place it down, make eye contact. All right, we're good. I'm backing away. All right, just in case for that maybe 3 plays in a season, you know they're about to snap the ball. Okay, because it only takes 1 play to get hurt. And that's what, as we get through this discussion and some film work, I'm going to ask some tips and hints from umpires in the room, because that's the biggest fear. What do you do as an umpire so you don't get ran over? All right, so number 1, don't let them snap the ball when you're not looking. That's the first tip. 5 to 8 yards is the starting position. So you see this umpire backing away. He's backing up, which is awesome. And right here, let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 yards off the ball. Sweet. And they give us 5 to 8 because you don't want to be on the line of gain. You don't want to be on the goal line. So that's one reason. You don't want to be on an important line. The other reason, if you always line up the same yard line, guess what tight ends are probably going to start doing? Running that route on that yard line. Not every single play, but the play they need it. So again, you keep the players guessing, where are you at, and you don't have the same routine. Count offense. This is all sports. Officials, we don't talk enough on the field. So every single down, so this goes back to Saturday. Every single down, I would be like, Lucas, I got 11 offense. Zach, I got 11 defense. And then what I would get back is like, mute. All right? Your voice will not confuse the players. So every single down, not only signal with the closed fist, all right? At the high level, this closed fist is saying, hey, I counted 11 from the bird in the sky. All right? So it's on video that I counted 11. All right? But the referee's not always looking at the umpire. Umpire's not always looking at the referee, but we could hear each other. Confirm I got 11. Keeps us engaged every single time.
On both sides of the ball?
So umpire always counts offense. Always counts offense. All right, so, and I'm glad you brought that up, Kelly. This is why I have the umpires always count offense, 3-person, 4-person, 5-person. Out of the two officials, referee, umpire, who's usually the newer one? Umpire. So I don't want to change the pre-snap routine. All right, so on a varsity game, what team does the umpire count? Offense every single time. What team is the umpire looking at? Offense. And I just told you, don't turn your back to the offense. So I don't want you to turn your back and count on the defense. Referee, what team are they looking at in 3-person, 4-person? All right, exactly. They're behind the offense, huddling. They could see all the defense. All right, so my preference in 3-person, 4-person, umpire always count the offense. Referee always count the defense. But referee, I hope you can count 11. I got 22. All right, so referee should count the defense first, then count the huddle when they break the huddle, got 11. Umpires always count the offense, so you are always doing the same routine over and over and over again, no matter what level. Unobstructed view, always see the football. All right, because if a snapper comes up, picks up the football like this, and puts it down, what do we got? All right, we got a foul, right? All right, so always see the football. Now, they can turn it. They can roll it over. They can lift it up a little bit, but you don't want them, like literally, first week of the varsity season last year, they picked up the ball, they looked at it to make sure it was their own ball, and then they put it back down. All right. So always see the ball, unobstructed view. And again, once that snapper addresses the football, now you could always have a snap infraction. You could always have that herky-jerky movement. You can't miss that. All right, could the line of scrimmage help you and save you? Yes, they can. All right, but they could have a wide receiver in their way. They could have something else in their way. All right, you always have to have that unobstructed view of the football. That football is your baby. Make sure nobody mishandles it.
Dead ball foul?
Yep, dead ball foul. So snap infraction would be a dead ball foul. Throw it high in the air, stop the clock. And then guard, center, guard to legal snap. All right, so you're going to have the false start, guard, center, guard. False start, guard, center, guard. Let's say you have a flag for false start. A line of scrimmage has a flag. What could they have? They could have encroachment. So whenever you have two flags and you're one of them, you as an umpire have to have a discussion because we got to figure out who went first. Did the defense enter the neutral zone first? Did the offense move to cause the defense in the neutral zone first? And the big discussion is, what if both move at the same time? Who are we going to put it on? offense. And why? They know the count. Okay? But you got to have that discussion. So this is like a basketball thing. You don't want this and this in basketball. Really, really bad. All right? You don't want false start by one official, encroachment by another official. Umpires own that. All right? Own that. A lot of times you will have a false start and you will not see what caused that false start, which is actually an encroachment. Zach?
Can they rotate the ball sideways parallel to the line of scrimmage?
So the question is, can they? So here, I'm just going to put it up here. Pretend this is the ground. Can they snap it like this? And the answer is no. All right. They could snap it to the side of them. They don't have to snap it between their legs. But that point of the football has to be forward. They cannot turn it until they start their snap, and then they turn it for that quarterback to receive the snap. All right, so they can't make that neutral zone smaller. Because everyone knows this, the length of the football is the neutral zone, correct? So if they turn it, now that neutral zone is smaller. All right, so the neutral zone is the length of the football. If the defense enters, if they turn it like this, snap infraction, dead ball, 5-yard penalty.
So here's a question. If they pick that ball up and he just moves it forward, you're not turning it on this in this case. My defender's hand's already down and they're moving it forward.
Actually, this was on a different test this past week. They're allowed to move the football forward a half yard. All right, so if we're playing at the 32, they dress it, they move it, so now the point's up. It could be at the 32 and a half, and we have no foul. Now, if the defense is already set, their hands there, their helmet's there, the ball moves up a half yard. Are we now going to put the foul on the defense? No, we are going to say everybody starts legal. Defense is tight to the line of scrimmage. Any movement forward now brings the defense into the neutral zone. All right. So, but by rule, they could adjust the football when they put it on the point up to a half yard. And I'm not saying they do it on purpose to gain an advantage, but I will say they do it consistently when they actually put that football on the point. They will move it forward a little bit. So that's why we give that defense that leeway, that little room. All right? Good 2 questions there. Any questions on pre-snap? Eye contact with the referee, backing out, 5 to 8 yards, 11 offense every single time. See the ball, guard, center, guard. You're looking for false start only. Umpires, you do not have encroachment. Why do umpires not have encroachment? You can't see that playing. Okay? All right, so mechanically. All right, so we're going to get into video here with mechanics. But free kicks, 20-yard line, press box side. All right. I said get and stay behind the ball. So there's some talk is like, why the heck are umpires at the 20-yard line? The only times they spot the ball all game long is on free kicks. That's just the mechanics, so we're going to master it. All right. So this is your time to shine, umpires, that you can spot the ball. Understand you have kick out of bounds. If that ball goes out of bounds at the 1-yard line, guess whose call it is? Umpire. Referee has touchback, not kick out of bounds. All right. So this is the film study. If you know you're going to a game that has a very good free kicker, they will kick it into the end zone. I'm going to start on that 20, and right as they're approaching that football, I'm backpedaling. I am backpedaling, keeping everything in front of me. I'm going to try to get behind this football as much as I can. So when they do return it, guess who they're not running to? They're not running to me as an umpire. Right? Boom. Get behind the ball. So that's what we're talking about. Yes, you start at the 20, press box side, get behind and stay behind as much as you can. On punts, you're starting 10 yards off the ball, line judge side. Umpires, why are we starting on the line judge side? All right, so this umpire's like really, really turned to the line judge side, which is fine. because this line judge releases on the snap. All right, so we're always going to open up, button hook open up on this line judge side. So that's why we're always going to start on that side, because that's the side of the field we're going to go to. All right, let's get to huddle. Blair versus Ralston. Huddle, huddle, bam. All right, so you don't see the umpire in this clip right now, but this is a 20, and you don't see him because he's press box side. All right, so this one, he is starting 8 yards off. All right. So 8 yards off the ball, he's in a position on the hash mark where he could see the football. And he's in a position, that's the other thing that people say, what position do you start in? Do you start with the hands on the knees? Do you start standing straight up? Do you start with your hands here? There's no right or wrong answer. But what should we not do once that ball is snapped? We should not move. So whatever stance you start in, stay there. All right? Because that initial action is going to tell you where your eyes have to go. And if you're moving your eyes, you don't know. All right, so if you start in the lower stance, stay in the lower stance. All right, so now play is over. Umpires, should we be killing the clock here as umpires? All right, no. We don't know if the forward progress is inbounds or out of bounds. All right, we're looking at dead ball officiating. Are we dead ball officiating right now? All right. We have opponents next to each other. Umpires, it is so important. Again, you understand what is going on in the middle. You know what players are upset at each other. You know who has high emotions, low emotions. You have the best feel of the football game. You are in between the players who collide every single play. Do not take your eyes off those players. All right, so this is a good example of backing away of the football. Choosing 8 yards again. All right, again, umpires, are we killing the clock?
No.
Nope, we're not killing the clock. We don't know forward progress.
Is he just mirroring the other official?
The previous play, I think he actually had a flag. I think that's why he killed the clock. On that one, if he's mirroring the official, he doesn't have to mirror the official, because where's the clock operator? Where's his eyes? The ball. So that clock operator is not looking for the mirror officials. All right, so we're what here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 yards. Perfect. And we're not on the line of gain. Perfect. I'm waiting for a pass play.
If you're at that threshold, would you want to be on the backside of the line of game?
Backside, correct. So if the line of gain is the 5 here, you want to be behind the line of gain. Be behind the line that they want and need to get to. All right, so on this one, give me a pass, Blair. All right. Yes. All right. So now we're going to go back. So now that we have a pass play, so pass. What are the line of scrimmage officials supposed to be doing now? All right, so line of scrimmage officials are working downfield. So now where's the vulnerable spot on the field for a potential foul? Line of scrimmage. All right, so umpires, you're working up towards the line of scrimmage on pass plays in 5-person, because you're going to have the illegal forward pass in 5-person. So as those line of scrimmage officials go down, umpires, you're moving forward. You don't have to sprint. You don't have to get in a hurry up there, but you need to be in the vicinity to see, did that foot completely cross that neutral zone line? That is the umpire's call on that. All right, so run, get set, stay set. Pass, moving up towards the line of scrimmage. At the end of the play, officiate these players. Officiate those dead ball players.
If it's a question, do you mark where they threw the pass?
No. So when in doubt, that's a fairness foul. We're not going to throw. If you are 100% sure that they're 1 foot completely past, or 1 foot down, is it one? Jason, I keep on messing this up. 1 foot, thank you. All right, 1 foot completely down, you're just going to throw your flag at that spot. Just make sure your flag is 1 yard beyond the previous spot.
I think that play was tough because those linemen were drive blocking.
I agree, because the original read was run, because they weren't pass blocking. But once that passer gets out of the pocket.
Right.
So what should every sideline yell? Use that tool, umpires. Yes, we're watching the tackles. Pass block, pass, move up. But if you hear pass from the sideline, move up, use that tool.
Are we supposed to be watching the tackle?
What's that? No. We're not be watching the tackle. Guard, center, guard. But if they're pass blocking, John, go for it.
Zach's point is his question. You get up the line of scrimmage. When you repat it, you're also in a great spot to know if those linemen are downfield.
Absolutely.
Especially if they come running past you as you're going up. Yeah. Then you wait for a legal forward pass, and you're kind of like, I try to turn around and find them after that.
But if you're moving forward, those are easy ones to get.
Now, let's confirm. So where the statement here was, as that umpire is moving forward to help with illegal forward passes, it also helps them get ineligible linemen downfield. In high school, how far can linemen go downfield without being called for a foul? 2. All right, so with that being said, make sure it's a full 3. All right, a big 3. All right, they could go 2, and it's same philosophy as when in doubt, if it's caught beyond or at the line of scrimmage for OPI, make sure it's 1 full yard. Same thing with ineligible linemen downfield. And the timing of it, it's when
Time of the
pass is thrown. There are so many times early in my career where the pass is thrown and it's already by me, and like, man, those linemen are 5 yards downfield. Well, they weren't 5 yards downfield when the pass was thrown. It's at the time of the pass. So if they're not at 3 when you're moving up to the line of scrimmage, I would err on the side of not throwing the flag. Go back to film, mark it down. Hey, did I miss an ineligible lineman downfield, IDP?
So
Make them big.
on that last play, they were drive blocking, and then he ended up throwing it. Say RPO. If he's engaged with that block 3 yards down the field, and it's still the same block that began at the line of scrimmage, is it still?
If it's an overpower block, we got nothing. If it's a shed block going to a second level block, now we got something. It's got to be the original overpower block. The original block. Take a look at one more here. We've got here, first down. All right, sweet. This umpire did an awesome job. Run right up the middle. Chris, you have a lot of experience as umpire. You have a running back going right up the middle, going right where you're at. What's the best tip you could give umpires? What to do? All right. I would not suggest getting the hell out of the way. Anyone else have a better? Go ahead, Zach.
I stand still.
All right. Stand still. Because think about it. If this runner's coming at me, and if I get out of the way to the right, I have a 50-50 chance of getting hit. All right. I have yet to see a ball carrier see an umpire and keep on going straight through that umpire. Now, I have seen an umpire move to the right, and the running back cut to the left, boom, hit the umpire. So if you stay still and then at the last second get skinny. All right, so number one, they don't hit you in the front. Number two, you are a little bit skinnier there. All right, so the best advice, if they're coming right up the middle, right up the gut, stay still, turn at the last second, they will miss you. Now, the unfortunate thing about the umpire, guess who can hit you? The defense, the safety, coming for the tackle. All right, so that's sort of that head on the swivel. I've had to do this arm shiver a couple of times, where once I turn and I see this defensive player coming in. So I just brace myself there. I know there's some videos out there, don't extend, don't create separation as an umpire. But that is really the best advice as an umpire. Hold your ground, turn, because the running back is going to make a cut. They are not going to run you over. Just as much as they want to keep on gaining yards, if they run into you, they can't gain yards. Okay, so that's the best advice for umpires. Hold your ground and turn at the last second. All right, so 5-person mechanics, umpires, NSAA, literally everything up here, I got from the NSAA observation form. All right, I kept it, that foundation, that generic. There's a lot more to it when it comes to mechanics, but if you follow that 5-person mechanic form, you're going to get through we'll call it 95% of plays. Now 3-person, 4-person differences. Okay, 3-person, punts, you are the back judges. All right, so Eric Nielsen talked for about 25 minutes on watching punt situations. What's a valid, what's an invalid fair catch signal? What's kick catch interference? What happens if the ball is muffed up in the air? All right, remains live, they can still catch it. What could they do after a fair catch signal? They cannot block. Umpires, I would take some time to watch this training tape because in 3-person, you are the back judges. You're going back to the open side of the field, 2 to 3 yards behind the receiver, 7 yards wide with a beanbag out to mark the end of the kick, all right, and ruling on that punt. That's a huge difference. Free kicks, instead of the 20-yard line, you're at the 50-yard line with the receivers. Okay, so you got the receivers. You want to get behind the ball as much as you can. Usually 3-person is middle school and youth, so they're kicking at 30, 40 yards. Get behind the ball. Every kick is an onside kick until proven it's not. How many times have people seen youth football players like, I'm going to kick it deep, and they swing their foot so hard, they barely hit the football. Every kick is an onside kick until proven it's not, even when it's not done on purpose. 4-person, free kicks, you start at the 20-yard line, opposite press box. So varsity, your press box side. 4-person, your 20-yard line, opposite press box. And then the other big thing in 4-person that's different, you're not walking up to the line of scrimmage in 4-person. The referee has to show their athleticism at that point to get that illegal forward pass. You have to turn on all pass plays because you have all catch, no catch over the middle of the field, and you have the best angle from that inside-out look. Again, we don't have that inside-out look in 4-person because the back judge isn't there. So we need that inside look on all pass plays in 4-person.
So you're basically saying that you don't have the responsibility to step up on 4-person.
Correct. The referee will.
Who's got that?
The referee. So the referee is going to work a little bit wider when that quarterback, when that passer's going out wide, and that referee is going to follow quicker on those pass plays. Because the umpire is going to take those deep passes, catch, no catch. It'd be a late pass interference, but those pass interferences over the middle of the field. But other than that, really those 4 mechanics, everything else is the same. 5-person, 4-person, 3-person. You're starting in the same spot, 5 to 8 yards. You got the guard center, guard still. You're dead ball officiating. And then as we're going to talk about here in a little bit, you're placing the ball down where the line of scrimmage or line of scrimmages officials are telling you to place it. All right, this should take quite a bit, majority of the next half hour. Holding. I would say holding is the most inconsistent call because of the terminology we use. All right. Now, Zach Hunnell has a different threshold than myself. Kelly's going to have a different threshold that is a new official as myself. All right. Chris Janda, I don't think he has holding in his repertoire. All right. Okay, call 2. All right. And who cares what our threshold is? That's the beauty of the art of officiating football. But we have to have consistent terminology. If a coach hears the same, this is why I did not have a hold by me, this is why I did have a hold by Chris, and the terminology matches up, coach will be like, all right, that makes sense. Okay, so that's really the intent, and there's this awesome training video I found from another state, so hopefully it makes a little bit of sense. So offensive holding. Hands, arms, or legs to hook, lock, clamp, grasp, encircle, or hold in an effort to restrain an opponent. Okay? Same rule set for defensive holding. There's one additional one. Contact an eligible receiver who is no longer a potential blocker. All right, so that could be an eligible receiver out of bounds. You can't continue to hold a receiver out of bounds. Are they eligible anymore? No. All right. Passes thrown. A forward pass is thrown, and they're away from the play. Could you continue holding that receiver? No, because they're not an eligible receiver anymore. They've already threw their pass. All right, it's that continual blocking that's going to incite roughness. All right, so the defense cannot do that. Interior holding, it's not a hold, but it's sort of that mindset, the philosophy. Indicator is what you're going to hear on the training tape. You're looking for indicators on interior holding. All right, when they lose their feet, they start to cheat. That could be one indicator. Hands outside of the shoulders. That could be another indicator. But on interior holding, you got to figure out the indicators of, all right, I got to keep my eyes on this action. Now we're looking for a category. Categories such as hook, lock, clamp, grasp, turn, dip, jerk, takedown, tackle, which the training video is going to go into. Effect on an opponent. All right, there are so many mismatches where I fire through, they hook and turn my shoulder, and I still sack the quarterback. That's not offensive holding. All right, I still need an effect on the opponent. And then the last one is effect on the play. So when it comes to interior holding, there's a lot to process as umpires. Indicator, category, effect on the opponent, effect on the play. Perimeter, a little bit easier. Those are one-on-ones. Open field. All right, you're looking for outside the shoulder frame, preventing movement. All right, and when we watch video, they're going to call themselves. You're going to see the defender's trying to get to the outside, and you're going to see the blocker, their arms go outside the body frame. Easy. Coaches will say perimeter holding has to be more tightly officiated than interior holding, and I agree with that, as so long as the ball carrier is there. All right. Interior holding, you got a lot of decisions to make every single play. Perimeter holding, it's one decision only if that ball carrier gets out in the perimeter. And then the other thing that's going to be in this video, open field holding. Tackle and a takedown that incites roughness has to be called. Because if you just get thrown down on a punt, thrown down on a free kick, nowhere near the ball, we still have to call that. because eventually frustration is going to lead up and now there's going to be retaliation. Open field holding, takedown tackle has to be called every single time. And that's to prevent the roughness. It's not a fairness place, it's inciting roughness. So as we take a look at these plays, we're going to ask ourselves, did it affect the opponent? Timing, proximity. Did it take away the opponent's step? Did it take player out of the play? Did it affect the play? Positive yardage. Passer was allowed to get the pass off, escape the pocket. And then can you categorize it? So when you're on the fields, all right, and you're asked the question, why was that not a hold or why was that a hold? This is the stuff you're looking for. You hook, you turned them, which allowed the ball carrier to advance positive yards. You grabbed, you jerked them, which allowed the passer now a passing lane. It's that terminology that will help with consistency. It's not the true judgment of it. All right, I'm hoping to
get a little bit more width because you'd want to, because look right here, it's a little bit
that
tough
is
for you
pretty
to
good.
see the quarterback and the tackle in your same view. So get a little bit more width, maybe outside by the numbers, and this should help you here. This means our wing official, the line judge in this case, is left holding that tackle. So let's watch that this tackle is moving here, and let's talk about whether it's a hold or not. So we have an inside grab, and we're going right to the point of attack here, right? So in this case, we have a twist, turn, and pull to the ground right at the point of attack, which makes this a little bit difficult for our line judge because right around here, the runner's getting threatened. But here's where we have to keep a little bit of discipline because this is the block that's going to spring him. So let's not worry so much about the runner at this case. And this is what I would classify as a takedown here. If we watch it, he turns his shoulders and
you had twist and turn, you had takedown, you had point of attack, that spring the runner. Does anybody in this room have this as a double team block?
Good story. He started. He kept the second guy came and chip, and he got put on his butt, but he did come in to initiate time.
Okay. All right. So number 30 here, because that was the argument that when I showed this to another official. Well, this is double team block. Who is number 30 trying to block here? The linebacker.
There's definitely a dip in the shoulder though on that defensive line.
We have indicator here now. This is the indicator. We got the grab, the clamping, the grasping. All right, so we're going to keep our eyes here.
as a takedown here. If we watch it, he turns it.
All right, so now this is not where I have my category. All right, I have the turn. Still one-on-one block before that turn. He actually turns them into the chip block. And then now the foul actually comes right now. Now I have positive yards at the point of attack. All right, so this is a great example of processing a play. Of, all right, I got my indicator, I got my grab, I got my clamp. All right, now I have my category of turn, takedown, and now I have the effect on my opponent, took him out of the play, effect on the play, positive yardage. All right, so this is not a double team block. The actual turn went into that chip block. It did crunch him. All right, let's get to the next play. After we get through this.
Is a good job of not calling holding by our umpire here. So let's talk through this play here. So number 66, I think we're looking at the center, if I can ever get on the play. I'm sorry, 67. So it's this guy right here. Okay, so we have a face-up initial position, and look what happens. He may have an inside grab on him. I'm not going to say isn't, but he doesn't. You see how the defender right here is trying to beat him to the inside. So there's two things that. All
right, so the defender was trying to beat him into the inside, but who actually went to the inside? 67. All right, so yes, we do have a grasp. We do have a clamp. We have an indicator. We do have the indicator.
What's it called? The center can do. So look, right about here, he starts to get beat to the inside. So the only thing the center could do is two things: push him on by or work his butt around like he does right here to get in perfect position to not make it a hold. So just don't overreact at first whenever you see the defender start, the offensive player starting to get beat like he is here. So let's not overreact, because look what happens by the center. Works his feet and works his butt right into the hole.
So that's exactly what we would love every single offensive lineman to do. All right, they started to get beat, so that's when they start to cheat, but they kept them in front. They beat them to the inside. They didn't dip them. They didn't turn them. They didn't jerk them. They didn't take them down. They didn't tackle them. They controlled them where they wanted to move them. So there's no category on this play.
Right tackle, and this is another difficult play because it involves a lot of focus. And again, here, what do we have here? We have trips to the top of the screen, so we know that the referee is going to have to work that tackle. Line judge, that you're going to be working this tackle, snap tackle back. So let's watch what happens. Let's see what we have. Do we have any indicators? Right here, we have an indicator. We have two, actually. We have an outside grab, and it looks like the defender who is beating the offensive player to the outside. But watch what the tackle does here. We'll watch it full speed first. He pulls him away right at the point of attack. And the reason I say he pulls him away is watch the dip of the shoulder by the defensive tackle right.
So see the dip of the shoulder outside the body frame. This would be a grab and restrict at the point of attack. All right, so we got the indicator of outside the shoulders. All right, we have a category, grab and restrict. We have effect of the opponent because the opponent was not able to make the tackle. We have the effect of the play because now it's a positive yardage. So this is a great example. What if this defensive player tackled this ball carrier at the 50-yard line? Still, would we have a foul? We would not. We would not have a foul for holding. The foul, the flag,
There, that
comes right now. All right, so another tip that I always give officials: have coaches, fans, partners, man, that was a long flag. Thank you. They're not arguing the foul. All right, but it's 4 things we have to process. That's a lot of time that takes to process. All right.
Indicators here. So we're going to watch that matchup here, which we know at this point is the field judge's matchup. So we have outside grab right here, and I will say this: there may not be much material restriction here, but when we have situations here where we have a jersey pull that happens like that, and our line judge actually does a great job not watching the runner. But he gets this, right at the point of attack. Look at his eyes. He's looking right here. And he gets that hold. And it's a great job by that line judge not.
So this is what we're talking about, perimeter holding. All right? Perimeter holding, you have that tug all the time and on the interior. Would you guys agree with that? You see that jersey tug all the time. You're tucking in the shoulder pads all the time. But when it's on the perimeter, everybody could see that. Again, what makes this a foul, we have the jersey tug, taking step away, all right? Grab and restrict. Opponent is not able to make the tackle, and we have an effect on the play. All right, so not every jersey tug, but when that ball carrier is going wide, you have that jersey tug on the perimeter, we are officiating one-on-one holds on the perimeter tighter than we are the 5 linemen on the interior. All right. There's just way too much space out here for that running back to cut left, to cut right. When you have that grab and restrict in the jersey tuck.
Give your opinion on it was the right guard, but it's on the 40 right there.
This 40?
Well, you moved it now. It's the right, yeah, right there.
Jersey pull.
Was
Right there. The one above that.
so we're talking about this. All right, these two. All right. So let's say this is a grab and restrict. This actually came up Saturday. If this lineman were to let go of this defensive player right now, you think this big boy is going to catch this running back? So it's not going to affect. It's not going to affect the opponent. It's not going to affect the play. Now, does he pick him up and slam him?
No. But just watch the way he runs. He's like running side.
That happens like that.
You know what I mean?
Yep. So I mean, he's grabbing.
It's an indicator. That's why.
Yeah. It's definitely restraining. It's definitely grabbing, but it's not affecting him to catch that. Like
Okay, so if that running back cuts back to the inside, then
now we could have
now I
something.
could have-
Absolutely. Absolutely. And then the last one I really want to take a look at, there's a pancake and overpower.
Who are you to judge my guy?
Yep,
how fast
here.
he is?
All right, so now this I'm pretty sure is the overpower. This is the pancake, or the offense just drives him to the ground.
And can't keep up with the little man and usually either over or under runs him. So watch the left guard pull and engage right here. Meets him right in the hole. Let's watch what he does here. He just drives him and pancakes him to the ground. Why is this not a takedown? Okay, it's pretty easy. We'll think of this. When we have takedowns, we'll see a shoulder turn by the defender to throw him to the ground, or almost a hip toss that signify us as a takedown. But all this offensive guard does is push him and drive him into the ground, and that's what we like to call an overpower.
Is the player who's blocking continues to fall forward. He doesn't turn him. He doesn't dip him. He doesn't hip toss him. He just keeps going forward. And now this defensive player could get up and say, man, how is that not holding? He grabbed me and he literally took me to the ground. And that's the terminology. Like, he overpowered you and pancaked you going forward to the ground. Okay, that's the terminology you're going to have that conversation with the coach and or player. And the best thing that I always tell players is shed the block. Get off of him, show separation, get outside of his body frame to show me that he is going to turn you, dip you, and grab and restrict you outside the body frame. And then there's going to be one more that incites roughness. I don't think I passed it up yet. Pretty sure it's this one.
Where we're going to watch the right, I think it's the right guard right here. And umpires, you should really do yourself a favor. And I would think it's right here. It's kind of difficult for you to see the center in both guards. There's an open space right here. I've never been an umpire, and I won't pretend to ever be one. But I would position myself on the other side of those linebackers. I know what the mechanics manual says about strength and such. But if you put yourself over here, I think you have a better look at all of this. You can get it all in your field of vision. But anyway,
That's just an unobstructed view. This umpire's looking through 1, 2, 3, potentially 4. If he comes to this open area, it's unobstructed view, not looking through any players.
Let's look at this guy right here. So he's starting to get beat inside, so that's our indicator, right? That pick up and slam. I know the quarterback is getting tackled.
We're kind of laughing
right
at
here,
this, but
I'll say this and I'll say it again. Takedowns promote
Thanks.
ill will, because watch what happens here. So let's go through it. Kid gets slammed to the ground, and then guess what? The defender gets up, all ticked off. He takes his helmet off and slams it on the ground. We get this guy for unsportsmanlike conduct, which is correct. However, we should have offsetting penalties here. Conduct, which is correct. However, it's up, all kid gets slammed to the ground, and then guess what?
so does that hold affect the play? It does. All right, because no hold, no 10-yard penalty, it incites roughness, which now UNS, so now it's a 15-yard penalty and goes towards the ticker for disqualification. You'd be surprised how many times, and I don't understand it, maybe I just wasn't wired that way, where players, when they see a flag when they were wronged, it prevents them from reacting. All right, so this is an example of that takedown, tackle, throwdown that incites roughness. If that flag is thrown in this player's vicinity where they see, all right, the player who did this is going to be accused of holding, so I won't react in an unsporting way, that could happen. The other thing, umpires, you should be able to figure out really quick that this player's mad. What should our body language do? What should we be doing as umpires? Man, you should get
The
in
defender
between
gets
those
up,
players
ball
as
kicked
fast.
off.
I'm finding this player as fast as I can because I'm sure he's saying some pretty colorful words right now. So umpires, this is what we're talking about, controlling the game. You are in this middle. You see those spontaneous reactions. You see the player's eyes. You see the player's body language. You hear what they're saying. Get in there and figure out, hey, what's going on? What just happened? I missed it. Let me know what's going on so I can help you to prevent this type of action as well.
Wait till you see this tomorrow.
Yeah, you don't want to wait till you see it tomorrow. All right, so this was, again, I hope this video was a good demonstration of indicator, finding the category, finding the opponent effect, finding the effect on the play. And then obviously the obvious takedowns to incite roughness. So yeah, a takedown, like
What we saw there.
absolutely. Not a pancake, but he literally threw him to the side. He slammed him to the ground. No matter what play, anywhere on the field, that's a flag.
Two things.
John.
One, these wouldn't offset, right? You got life out there.
Correct.
And second, are we sending him out because his helmet came off?
Yeah. Yeah, his helmet came off. We have an unsportsmanlike conduct for helmet coming off. So he has to sit out one play and let the head coach know that's his first unsportsmanlike conduct towards disqualification. Okay. I will say when it comes to football, I think holding is the most difficult call because we don't all talk in the same terminology. I don't think it's a difficult call of when you see it, you're going to call it. It's when we don't call it. How are we going to communicate to partners, to coaches, to players why it was not? Our terminology is very, very important. And start with the rule book, Rule 2, that goes over I think it's 2-3, the legal blocking techniques. And then it goes into what is defensive holding, what is offensive holding. Before we move on to the next one, other questions on holding?
Just, I want to talk about the effect on the play and perimeter holding specifically. So this was probably 4 or 5 years ago. There was a playoff game, Class A playoff game. North went out to Grand Island, and North runs a power sweep to the left. There was on the right, on the far right hand side, you had press coverage by the cornerback on a wide receiver. The wide receiver clearly, runs out. There was a grab and restrict. You can see that on the film. And then he let the kid go. Now, so the kid from North, tailback, takes the ball 65 yards down the left sideline. The hold is called, the Grand Island bench just goes nuts. So the official throws the holding flag. But going back to, you look at that and you say there's no way that DB could run that kid down.
So I would have to see the whole.
Was, he's 40. What's the field? 52 yards. Sideline to sideline.
Mm-hmm.
He's 40. He's 45 yards away. So Why is that a hold?
So you saying the holding was on this side of the field?
Yeah, the opposite side.
And okay,
I mean, it was a very significant play.
so the only thing I could even think of is what coaches practice in practice. They line a bunch of players up along this way, 52 yards, 53 and a quarter yards wide, and they call angle tackle. So if he's away from the play and he prevented him from making an angle tackle, and in that official's judgment, he could have got to this side of the field and bumped him out of bounds at the 1 yard line on the other side of the field.
I mean,
That's the only thing I could think of. You said it was a 65-yard run.
yeah.
So obviously the farther away from the end zone, the more likely that defensive back could have made that angle tackle out of the 1 yard line.
All right.
It's the only thing I could think of. Do you know if that defensive back was really, really fast, like 100-meter dash
He was
state
fast, but
champion?
He wasn't as fast as the North tailback. So
But
we'll just leave it at that. So,
with that being said, that's the terminology you're going to have to use, though. Hey, coach, in my judgment, this defensive back, had he not been held, could have ran on a diagonal and pushed him out of bounds inside the 5 yard line instead of a touchdown. That's why I called on it. Okay? That's why I called on it. All right, we're going to transition to illegal blocks. All right, so umpires, these are a lot of illegal blocks you're going to see, and only you're going to see with 10 players colliding in the middle. So chop block, rule 238. Combination block by 2 or more teammates against an opponent other than the runner with or without delay, where one block is below the waist, this is the below the waist, and the other is above the waist. This is above the waist. Very, very dangerous block. All right, so here's a couple of videos of chop block. Combination of teammates, one high, one low.
A chop block occurs when an offensive player blocks is engaged by a second offensive player above the waist.
In high school, what else is this? This is an illegal block below the waist too. All right, but you will see it because there are some teams that they're rather get the 15-yard penalty than get their quarterback hit pretty hard.
Chop blocks are illegal on pass.
This is the one umpires you're going to see a lot right here. All right, right there in the middle.
Plays, kicking plays, and beginning in 2016, all running plays. On running plays, it does not matter if the chop block occurs on the front side or the back side. It is still a foul. If the defensive player initiates the contact above the waist, or it is clear that the offensive player is trying to slip or escape and the contact above the waist is incidental, it is not a foul. Or escape.
This is very important note here. Not this play.
It is still a foul. If the defense.
All right, so what does number 64, offensive guard, want to do here?
Lock down on 90.
He wants to down block. He wants to get to the second level. He does not want to block 76. This is what makes this sometimes difficult for the umpire. 76 on defense is the one who initiates the high.
Player initiates the contact above the waist, or it is clear that the offensive player.
This is only a low block by the offense. Because this 64, he was down blocking. He did not want to officiate high. He did not want to block high. This would not be a chop block. 64 would have to engage and chip.
His first move was cut down on 76.
Legal. Yeah, and we'll get into that free blocking zone here with block below the waist here soon.
Is trying to.
Yep. Because he's keeping separation. He's not creating separation. He's keeping it.
Slip or escape and the contact above the.
Most of the time, umpires, the chop blocks happen because of miscommunication. Like, hey, I'm going to block this guy. They say, yep, I'm going to block this guy. Boom, they block the same guy. I told you. Literally, I told you I was going to block him. That's usually when the chop blocks happen. All right, block below the waist, Rule 237. We're going to talk about when it is legal first. I have no idea what this is. So it is legal in the free blocking zone. All right, so it's 4 yards on either side of the ball, 3 yards forward, 3 yards backwards. It has to be immediate, and the ball has to be in the free blocking zone. So if they're in a shotgun formation, once that passer gets the ball, they're done. They're done. It's not immediate. So the question that comes up year in and year out, you got the snapper, guard, guard, tackle, tackle. This diagram clearly shows there is room for a tight end here. All right, so the question, I know Aurora does it quite a bit. They have tight gaps between the guards and tackles when their tight end is in. In your opinion, if you think that tight end is within 4 yards of the ball, that tight end can block below the waist immediately against an opponent who's in the free blocking zone. All right? It's got to be a very, very tight gap, foot to foot. If there's spacing in between the guard, in between guard and snapper, guard and tackle, tackle and tight end, I'm putting that tight end out. That tight end has to clearly, I am an interior lineman and I am looking to block a defensive end. All right, referees, I know Jason spoke of it last week. Do your homework. If you see tight formations, maybe ask that coach, hey, is there a reason why you have tight formations with your tight end? Are you looking to block below the waist with your tight end? All right, and it has to be that tight. So I'm not going to say all tight ends can't block below the waist. It just has to be really close. So now let's talk about what are illegal. All others. All right, linemen in the free blocking zone, immediate. All right, go ahead, Zach.
So in your scenario, if your tight end is in, but that defensive end is on the outside shoulder, how much of his body part has to be in the free blocking zone for him to be eligible to be cut?
So let's say B1 is the defensive end, and there's a tight end here. Let's say there's A7, tight end. If B1 is head up on A7, I'm going to count that in the free blocking zone. If B1 is on the outside of A7, I'm putting B1 outside the free blocking zone, and then the tight end could only now block inwards, not outwards. So if there's a tight end here, they would have to be head up on the tight end. It's very few teams that do it, but what I really wanted to stress, especially in 5-person varsity, if the coach brings it up to you, like literally this one coach, he spray painted 4 yards, free blocking zone and his formation. So it is possible.
8-man, is 8-man the same then?
No, 8-man, it's 6 yards the same, but it's 6 yards.
6 by 6.
Yeah, it's not 8 yards. It's 6 by 6.
Okay, so what about a linebacker who walks up or is up towards, say, he's going up to the gap between B4 and B3 there. How he can be on the line, he doesn't have to have his hand in the ground as the defensive player to get cut.
I'm glad you said it. The linebacker has to be on the line of scrimmage.
Right, he has to be on the line of scrimmage, but so if his foot's on the line of scrimmage, he's good.
Correct.
Cut,
Yep.
He doesn't need to be in like a 3-point stance.
No, he could be in a 2-point stance.
So if he's blitzing, and in your judgment, he was on the line at the time of the snap, he can still be cut.
A blitzing linebacker is not on the line of scrimmage. Line of scrimmage is you are set in the free blocking zone. You are set, and you are letting the defense know I am here. Even if I start right at the edge, 3 yards off, if I start blitzing, that is not on the line of scrimmage.
So that's illegal.
Illegal. It's illegal to block a blitzing linebacker. It is legal to block a linebacker stationary in a 2-point stance inside the free blocking zone immediately. Immediately.
And this can be a B foul, correct?
Yes. Yes. So let's say the linebacker, boom, takes out the lead blocker, which we're going to have I think it's a video there. They take out that lead blocker to get to the ball carrier. That's a foul on the defense. So all others, if it's not immediate by either offense or defense on the line of scrimmage, in the free blocking zone, at the snap, illegal. All right, bam. Oh, this is actually not the video. That's free blocking zone. Nope, this was not what I was looking for. Not what I was looking for. That's right. We're going to come blockable the ways here. Clipping, 251. Block against an opponent when the initial contact is from behind, at or below the waist. So below the waist, at the waist is legal. It has to be below the waist. Clipping, you cannot clip somebody at the waist from behind. All right, so that's why I have that highlighted there, at or below, for clipping. So initial, from behind, at or below. Da, da, da. It is? I mean, this phone's hot.
Clipping is illegal outside of the area of close line play, which is the area between the offensive tackles and 3 yards on either side of the line of scrimmage. In close line play, it is legal for an offensive player to block an opponent above the knee, but it is illegal to clip at or below the knee, or to block an opponent outside of the line of scrimmage. In close line play, it is legal.
74 right here, that is a foul in high school federation football because it is at or below the waist and it's from behind. This is a foul in high school football.
For an offensive player to block an opponent above the knee, but it is illegal to clip at or below.
All right, so this is a foul in every level of football. All right, so it's from behind and it's at or below the waist. Very, very dangerous play. And I would also suggest if you see this in high school or youth football, ask the player, why did you do that? And as long as if they say, oh, I didn't mean to do that, I tripped on my own feet. Okay, it's still a foul. All right, they're like, well, my coach told me to do that. I'm watching that player the rest of the game. All right? Or I got beat and I did it on purpose. I'd watch that player the rest of the game. All right, that's a very dangerous, clipping is a very dangerous, dirty foul that could have a lot of results on an opponent's remainder of the season.
Just to be clear, the free blocking zone has nothing to do with that.
Nothing.
So we can get in there, right, with the ball being there and inside the tackles and inside that 3-yard belt.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, so I want a down block, but the guy I was going to down block, he beat me. And I still go and I hit the back of his leg, back of his butt, back of his ankle. Even though it was immediate, since it was from behind, I cannot block him from behind, at or below the waist. All right, blindside blocks. Umpires. I bring this up because back judges, they have the big perspective, big perspective. Umpires, you are not spotting the football, correct? You should not be watching the ball carrier. Should not be watching the ball carrier. So if you don't have interior lineman threats, start looking. I'm looking for blocks. I'm looking for bricks in the hand. I'm looking for chase mode. That is blockers looking to hit somebody for their teammate. People coming across down grain just because they love to hit. Umpires, you have to help with these blindside blocks. All right, so let's start with the legal. It is legal to blindside block in high school.
Personal fouls for excessive contact on blindside block below the shoulders, which isn't initiated with the blocker's helmet or an upward thrust of the shoulder. This first example of a legal not above the shoulders, or reflective block with the hands not above the shoulders, or a screening block, again below the shoulders, which isn't initiated with the blocker's helmet. Let's
like
talk
two
about
legal blocks.
Generally, a legal blindside block would involve a deflective block with the hands not above the shoulders.
Still picture here. So here's one. Open hand shove. Here's another one. Open hand shove. So you can still block outside the vision of your opponent. It's just got to be open hands. It's got to be open hands. All right, let's take a look at the beginning of this play if we can.
Screening block, again below the shoulders, which isn't initiated with the blocker's helmet or an upward thrust of the shoulder. Two blindside blocks, both of them are legal. You'll note the blockers have their heads up, their hands out. You can see the difference in the safety factor relating to these blocks. And we're going to take a look at it from the end zone. I'm going to stop frame it so you can see the approach angles. So here's the first legal block. Watch the hands. Here's the second. You can see both these blocks are forceful. They put the defender in the block using the hands. And I'm going to run this in real time because I think when you initially see it, you might think, ooh, that's illegal. But we're going to run it back slowly and show you the legal aspects of this block. So I'll just let this run. It's going to be an interception. There's the block. Okay, I'm going to run that back and we're going to slow it down. Now watch the defender. His head is up, his hands are out. That's a hard hit, but it's perfectly legal. This next example of a legal blindside block occurs on a broken play. It's a quarterback scramble, reversing field, has all the elements that we normally see with blindside blocks, and we have a defenseless player involved. We'll run it. So A80, who's going to be highlighted here, is going to block B60. You can see B60's concentration and focus is on the quarterback. He's defenseless. I'm going to run this in real time and then we'll run it back. Now that hit is done with the back. It's not with the helmet. Let's watch it in slow motion. You can see how effective it is. It knocks.
So now this is my threshold right here. This is going to be my threshold. So it's not clearly with the open hand, right? All right. So I need to figure out, is it punishing the opponent? Is he turning it? Is he not doing the flyby? Is he not doing the screen? Sometimes it's, hey, just like basketball, we do it all the time in basketball, right? Take the screen, take the hit. I would support
60 off
an illegal blindside block here because it wasn't clearly with open hands. I would support an illegal blindside block here. But who actually takes most of the brunt force here? The little guy. So I could understand why you wouldn't have an illegal blindside block here. All right, Coach, he was actually ducking and absorbing being ran over by somebody who was 3 times the size of him. He was ducking and absorbing. He was not blocking. He wanted to get in his way, thought, oh, this is a bad idea, and now I'm ducking and absorbing. Okay, so when we talk about terminology, if you have blindside block, it wasn't clearly with open hands. That's why it's a blindside block. If you don't have a blindside block, hey, coach, in my judgment, he was thinking about getting in the way. He changed his mind. He ducked. He absorbed. That's why I don't have a blindside block here. Okay, so now let's take a look at the other side of the spectrum. Oh, no. Could I only have so many windows open at the same time? Advanced. Dang it. Let me try to do this one. Am I? Uh-oh. Dang it. All right, let's see if my phone turns on fire now. But the other one was X2.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, that's right. So, there are going to be times in high school football, believe it or not, line of scrimmage officials are not going to see this. They're too close to it. They're watching the ball carrier. They're watching the trail guy to make sure they don't horse collar. All right, umpires, look at that. You have a perfect view in the middle of the field. So you are turning towards the zone of the ball carrier. You have to find these blockers. Back judge could get this as well. All right, but umpires and back judges, you're like, man, the line of scrimmage official's right there. How do they not see that? They're not looking there. They're not looking for chasers and bricks in the hand. They're looking at people who are going to tackle the ball carrier. They're looking at that ball carrier. Are they stepping out of bounds? They're not looking for those bricks in the hands. There was no ducking. There was no absorbing. It was straight punishing the opponent outside their vision of concentration. Nothing better for a defensive lineman to do than after a turnover, find the person that has been banging them all game long. All right, so umpires, if there's a change of possession, interception, you better find your linemen. And if you know two linemen have been going at it all game long, find those two, because they are going to hunt them. From the front, right?
Ducks and absorbs.
All right. But it's outside the vision. That's what you got to realize. It's outside the vision of the person who is receiving the block. Clearly not two hands open. Clearly not the drive-by. Not ducking and absorbing. Not getting in the way. This is laying the boom. But who was that defender looking at? The passer, the ball carrier.
Arms out and everything on that one?
No, he hit him with the shoulder, and it was not ducking and absorbing. Okay, so this is an illegal blindside block. So umpires, the big takeaway on these videos, you can help in big field situations. All right, you're not going to get the perimeter holds, so let's find the people with the bricks in the hand, especially on turnovers. Man, turnovers, we all know who's looking to hit the other way. We all know that. All right, last section. Penalty enforcement. All right, we have an illegal block. We have a block below the waist. We have a false start. We have encroachment. We have illegal touching. We have roughing the passer, whatever the case may be. When we say give information to the wings, you're not saying offensive pass interference, previous spot, 15 yards, third down. Referee's already done that. But what you're giving information is how far are we moving in the direction that we're going to be going. I have seen myself do this, where I going 5 yards this way, and my crew gets on the 0-2-0, hey, Sean, the other team fouled. Thank you very much. Now I'm going 5 yards this way. All right, so I'm giving the information to my H&L, the direction I'm going to go, just by the way I'm facing. And again, one finger's 5 yards. I'm going to go this way, back to camera. One finger, 5 yards. Two fingers, 10 yards. Three fingers, 15 yards. And if I go here, that's half the distance. So I'm going half the distance to the goal. A lot of times sometimes I'll like my umpires doing with newer officials, hey, I'm at the 10, I'm going to the 5. I'm at the 30, I'm going to the 15. I'm at the 42, I'm going to the 32. So they could do that. If you do that, make sure the referee approves of it, because you don't want to do that while the referee's doing their announcement. Okay? So now once I give my information, I'm facing the direction, I'm going 10 yards. Head linesman and umpire. All right, so the linesman has a chain to umpire. You are rapidly moving to the next spot. You are not going 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, we're laughing because it looks silly, right? You'd be surprised how many umpires do that. That's why I'm 17, I'm going to the 12. Boom, 17, 12. I'm going to the 12. Now, after I get to the 12, I look at my H. Sweet, me and the H match up. I then find my L. And then my L, all three of us match up. That's when I'm placing the ball down. I think Vernon at Saturday meeting said it great. Umpires, huge tip. Whether you're placing the ball on a running play, placing the ball after a catch, enforcing the penalty, do not put this football down until you know that is the spot. Because this looks bad. Pointing it down. Oh, sorry. And moving it 1 yard. That just does not look good for the crew. Okay, so as much as referees have to do their signals great, this ball is very important, very powerful where we put this down. Because once we put it down, I guarantee you defensive coordinators, offensive coordinators, they have about 2 seconds. They're sending in a play. And now we're reacting. Now we move the football on them. That's not going to be good stuff. All right, so anyone know why I put it up here? Line judge. Why does the line judge move last?
He's holding the last spot.
Yeah. So we need somebody holding the last spot. So if the umpire and H screw up, whoa, okay, let's go back to the beginning. Let's do that again. All right. If all three match up, place the ball down. And then umpires, we put this in this one because not every game has a back judge. Clock status. What was the result of the play? Run in bounds. Penalty enforcement. Is it going to start on the ready or start on the snap? Start on the ready because it was a run in bounds. Had that foul not happened, the clock would have continued to run. Now we have an incomplete pass. We have defensive pass interference. After that penalty enforcement, is it going to start on the ready or is it going to start on the snap?
Hey, Sean, cold clock.
What's that?
Cold clock.
Cold clock on the snap. Because had that defensive pass interference not happened, we have an incomplete pass. the clock will next start on the snap. So have that as your repertoire as an umpire. Yes, if you have a back judge, sweet, they could take ownership of it. But not every game has a back judge. And if somebody does get hurt, guess what position goes away first? Back judge. Back judge is the first position that goes away. So umpire, you have to take on that clock responsibility. Starts on the ready and the cold. If you do have a back judge and your back judge says, hey, it's on the ready, and you disagree, get on the 0-2. No, it's on the snap because it was an incomplete pass. Here's where it usually happens. No, it's on the snap because the result of the play was a touchdown. Touchdown is a running play, but is it in bounds? No. End zone's not the field of play. Field of play stops at the goal line. So after a touchdown, we don't start the clock on the ready. We started on actually the free kick. So after a scoring play, it's cold. It's on the snap. And the other time is after a legal kick. So boom, field goal. No good, but we have encroachment by the defense. We're going to bring it back 5 yards. Since we have a legal kick, we're starting on the snap. Okay, so umpires, if we talk about pre-games, ideas for pre-games, have your crew do 3 penalty enforcements before you walk out on the field. All right, guys, how are we going to enforce half the distance to the goal on a holding? How are we going to enforce 15-yard penalty, offensive pass interference? Do 3 a game. It's better to take 30 seconds to prevent 5 minutes because of a screw up. And we don't have replay or review, so we don't have that to rely on. Before we go to the upcoming events and then call it a day, anybody have questions on these umpire main responsibilities? Any questions on mechanics? 3-person, 4-person. All right, here's our upcoming practices. So Thursday will be in this room, line of scrimmage. Saturday, August 17th, NHSOA, NSAA, 1 o'clock to 5 o'clock at Millard South. All right, so if I always tell my crew members, I tell other PSOA crew members, it will do nothing but help you to reflect positively on the NSAA if your whole entire crew there or members of the crew there. I'm not asking you to cancel family plans, baptism, or anything to attend that. All right, but NSAA, NHSOA, 1 o'clock to 5 o'clock, Millard South. We have, if you were on the field last Saturday, please do not sign up for these that I'm going to post. But August 24th, Elkhorn North Ridge Middle School from 10 o'clock to 12 o'clock. We'll have 1 field, but we'll rotate 2 crews. All right, so this is for new referees. So if you are a returning official, it's like, hey, I'm thinking about becoming a referee, please attend these. Or if you're a brand new football official, these are for you. We'll have 2 observers at Elkhorn North Ridge Middle School. We'll have 4 observers at Papio La Vista South. All right, so then there's 16 positions open at night, the 24th. I will post those in there. Again, it's youth football. It's there to get snaps. If you're a new official, it's so great to take advantage without parents and coaches yelling at you every single snap. Okay, and then new referees. So let's say you've been doing it for 10 years. You're becoming a referee. We don't want new officials to be referees. We want returning officials to be referees. Film study. We'll have a week of film to study September 4th at Tanner's. Part 2 test September 11th at Tanner's. And then our golf outing September 14th while watching the Huskers and seeing how awesome the officials do against Northern Iowa. So those are our upcoming practices. I'm going to do everything I can. All the times up there will not change. All right. Thursday is 6:30 here. 6:30 here at Westside. Wednesdays, oh, great job. 7 o'clock. 7 to 9 is what we have Tanner's for. 7 to 9.
That'll be an arbiter too, right?
That will be an arbiter, correct. And then, again, if you're open this weekend, next weekend, please email me. Some of these are gone already, but we're looking to fill these games, and these games will be paid Monday. All right, so any games worked this weekend will be